The Whispering Shadow. In the quiet town of Ashwood, an old library sat at the edge of the forest, abandoned for decades. Legend had it that anyone who entered after sunset would hear whispers in the shadows, calling them by name. Most dismissed the tale as a silly ghost story, until Emma decided to explore it. Emma was a skeptic, a journalist chasing her next big story. Armed with a flashlight and her recorder, she entered the library as the sun dipped below the horizon. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of decaying books clung to her nose. The silence was deafening. Rows of ancient, crumbling bookshelves loomed like skeletal sentinels. Emma's flashlight danced across faded titles, her recorder capturing every creak and groan of the aging building. "Just an old library," she muttered, her voice echoing faintly. Then she heard it. A faint whisper, soft as a sigh, calling her name. "Emma." Her heart thudded. She spun around, but the room was empty. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. No answer. The whisper came again, closer this time. "Emma, over here." Her flashlight flickered as she stepped deeper into the shadows. The voice seemed to emanate from a large, ornate mirror tucked in a forgotten corner. Its surface was cracked, and the frame was covered in strange, swirling carvings. Emma approached cautiously. Her reflection stared back at her. But something was wrong. The reflection's eyes were darker, emptier, and it smiled when Emma did not. The whisper turned into a low growl. Suddenly, her reflection reached out of the mirror, its fingers cold and skeletal, dragging her toward the glass. Emma screamed, her flashlight clattering to the floor. She clawed at the edges of the frame, but the force was too strong. The last thing she saw was her own terrified face, twisting into a grotesque grin as her reflection stepped out of the mirror, now free. The library went silent again, save for the faint sound of a recorder still running. The next morning, the recorder was found on the library steps, playing a single sentence on repeat. "Come find me."